realized I was trans, I felt euphoric. But I quickly became suspicious of everything I'd ever known. Philippines, Greece, Italy. Camera, class anxiety. I could be killed in the street, and still they turn and blame me. What if I brought a knife to genocide, or brought genitals to feminine life and didn't apologize?
So I'm nervous, you know.
Yeah. How do I make you less nervous?
I don't know how you make me less nervous.
Well, this first one is pretty low key because it's just tell me about verse. Tell me about your baby verse.
My baby verse. Verse has been really important. Been really important. Verse came when you brought Verse home. She was a little bundle of joy. She was all inquisitive and loving, snuggled up on the bed.
Why did you say she was important like that?
Well, she became really important because you brought her home. She was yours. She used to be yours. And when you got sick, she was like my connection to you.
Here's a question. Like, what do you want to get out of your art and, you know, your life as an artist? And not in the way that you like the things that, you know, us as artists, we tell people, like, oh, this is what I want, yada yada. But like, what is your dream for your art?
I want to go out and try to understand myself, and then I want that to be reflected back by people understanding me in return.
Do you think that you're at a point where you still don't understand yourself?
I think I understand myself better than I ever have, but there's still a lot of mystery to me, in me, which I'd like. I like that because it gives me a reason to keep trying to search.
We were kind of looking forward to it being the last year of school, and every year I had gone out with you to get set up in your dorm and just kind of have a little bonding time, because we would always get the room ready and everything, but then we would do something that was kind of like a vacation kind of thing. Like we'd go to the Getty Museum, or we would go into Venice, or you know, something like that. So, but when I got there, the day that I got there, immediately things were very different. I had asked, we had stopped to have lunch, and I had asked about your shaved legs. I noticed that your legs were shaved, and I asked thinking that you were going to say, oh, I'm working on this thing, or whatever. And you snapped at me, and it had never happened before. Basically saying, you know, do you really want to go there? And I didn't know where I was going, so it took me by surprise. So we didn't really have a conversation then, but it was very uncomfortable for both of us, I believe. And then later that day, I think it was that later that day, you had said that you had some things you wanted to talk with me about, and it was within days. When Evelyn called, home? No, it was within days that I came home that you called and you said, I'm a woman.
my skin was just a place I would stay. I would tell you if I was lying or not. Things change in the blind spot. I'm caught between two different things with two different names, but they're both the same, and I'm not some guy. Remember, if I die, I'm not some guy. Remember, if I die, I'm not some guy. I'm not some guy. Ooh, I am a woman, some nights, some days.
I think there had been several conversations where it was kind of a struggle back and forth. There were, and obviously we were trying to come to terms with the fact that you were telling us that you're transgender and trying to understand what that is and what it means to you and how.
And at that point, we didn't know anyone who was transgender.
No.
We had no close relationship with anyone who was transgender, and so you were, even in your group of kids coming up, you were the first person that we knew of that had come out. So so we were trying to figure that out. We didn't know what that meant, really. So we were working on that.
Right. So we were working on it. I joined PFLAG. We were reading a lot. We were talking to people. We were trying to understand, and we tried to have conversations with you, and got a lot of pushback that you really did not want us to discuss this with you.
Yeah,
Go figure it out on your own.
Right.
I don't want any part of this.
Working on your own.
It was just also very convoluted. But there was a lot of mourning, and I think I got engaged with PFLAG and just tried to work out what I could there. Talk with people there and, just try to help understand kind of what was going on. But, there was more going on than just a transgender change. So I think that kind of confused a lot of things.
You want to talk about that more?
Well, just that, as time went on, we come to realize that there's a whole psychological component, and, there was a whole bunch of stuff going on. So, it wasn't just straight up that you're transgender. It was the whole distancing yourself from us and rejecting us. That was, I don't think that was all about being transgender.
I think it's very interesting that your first card was the Hermit. The Hermit is one of the major arcana, which whenever you draw a major arcana card, it's a big deal. And that idea of searching for your path is so right for the Hermit. But I think it's like, like those the Falcons in both the King of Swords and the Nine of Pentacles. Just for me, it's like you need to trust that guide of you, which is like your artistic sensibility, that I have so much respect for, and I think the cards are telling you that to keep following what you need to do.
Remember, if I die, I'm not some guy. I'm not some guy. Remember, if I die, I'm not some guy. I'm not some guy.
This song makes me want to cry.
Thanks.
You have this thought of being a woman, and then you immediately plan your funeral.
They can't take it from me, no matter what.
You're beautiful.
You too.
Gross. Do you want to meet me again sometime?
Yes.
You're okay?
I'm not afraid.
You can be a little afraid. I'm scary.
Not to me.
You gave me a call. and at like 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning on a Monday night, and you were excited and talking fast and wanted to explain to me some concepts in numerology that you were learning. And you know, I was always, you know, when you had never called before in the middle of the night like that, and so I was glad to hear your voice, and I was a little anxious about what you might be calling about, and the fact that you were calling about something so casual but yet you were so excited was a little off-putting. You get in this pattern of how days go by, Mondays Monday, Tuesdays Tuesday, and they all have their feeling, but sometimes there's a day that that comes out of nowhere and changes everything. Maybe not forever, but for a while.
You FaceTimed me at the office, and at the time you were kind of euphoric almost, and explaining like, oh my gosh, Mom, I can't believe it, I can see your love everywhere, I've never seen it like this before, it's so clear to me, it's everywhere, I can see it, I can feel it, you and I are so connected. Which was not a usual thing or way you would express, and then you went right on to the numbers and just, oh my God, I figured out all about the numbers. I figured them out, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you know 7 and 8, and this connection, and they were just like fast, just flying, and I'm like, Ev, I don't understand. What are you trying to tell me? I don't understand. And you said, they can't put me in a institution. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And you said that you just can't do it, and I have to go, and the whole thing was just so completely disjointed, and I was trying to keep you on the phone, and I couldn't. You said you had to go. You had to go, and my summation of that was that I felt that you were psychotic, that nothing was making sense, you couldn't really carry on a conversation, things were very disjointed, and I broke down. I just broke down at the office, and
right, and you were like sobbing. And,
I was sobbing.
And Sarita, who's a couple feet away from you on the other side of the wall there, heard you sobbing, and she came and knocked on the door and had me come out of the room and said, you need to see Gina, she's really upset. So then I sit down next to your mom, and she's crying. I said, what just happened? And she explained, he's sick, I know there's something wrong. We just had a very unusual conversation, and that was just a couple hours after the unusual conversation that we had had. And so we decided, within a couple seconds, I said, okay, let's go to California. She's obviously, not doing well, and we'll just go see how we can help. The idea was that if you, that we would meet, and you asked if we could get you some Birkenstocks. And so we said, sure. And you said there's a store in town, and we thought, okay, we'll go there. Then when you came to meet us, it was, about 60 degrees, and you were wearing a yellow sundress, and you didn't have any shoes on, and it was kind of cold for that outfit, and but the sun was out and it seemed nice, and you were very euphoric again,
very
and animated, and we walked just a couple half blocks into town, and then found out that the store wasn't open yet for another half hour.
While we were sitting there trying to just wait for the store to open, we had conversation that got very uncomfortable. So there was conversation, and I just looking at my notes, there was flight of ideas, and you were getting very agitated. and you said you couldn't wait, and you were restless, and you were talking about death and not needing your physical form. I wanted to try to, in some way, extend the time that we were together, because I was so uncomfortable about just leaving you, and asked about the cat, and can we see the cat? No, I don't know where the cat is. The cat is dead. The cat is gone. I am the cat. So there was a lot of conversation about that.
I always feel exhausted after I'm done talking with my parents. I don't know what they want from me.
They want to know you. They want to feel like they know what's going on with you.
It feels like they're trying to run my life and they can't see who I'm becoming.
Well, they think they know what's best for you always, and they're not going to give up that control just because you're unhappy.
They are trying to control me.
I think you'd be fine without them. Really.
Dad had actually given you his shoes.
Right,
so
you were
that you wouldn't
barefoot
be
and you were going to be
barefoot.
going in and out of the store. So I said to her, why don't you take my shoes? And you took the shoes and left. And when that happened,
That's when you called.
then I was looking up, immediately started looking up counseling centers in town to see if we could get in to see a counselor. There was a counseling center right in town, and they agreed to see us right away. They said, oh, we could see you like in an hour. And then when we established that, which is within minutes, like you were only down a few stores by that time. But then you came out of the store,
And you're very, I have this here,
and you looked back at us, and you were really mad.
really angry.
We spent the next,
You had thrown your phone down, and so because you realized, I think, that we were tracking you on the phone so that we could keep track of where you were. And so the phone was broken, and then we lost where you were. So Dad and I split up trying to find you.
because we still thought that if we could meet up with you and you could agree to go to counseling to see somebody with us, that maybe things
We
could
could get you
settle
some
down.
help.
We could get you some help that you needed. In this tiny little town, we lost each other for like an hour. And but I went in all the stores. We were looking for you.
So
Then
eventually we found each other.
we found each other.
You got back in the
I
car.
got back in the car. We went down about a block and a half, and you were walking down the sidewalk in the campus, really.
As happy as could be. Nothing ever happened. Everything is fine.
No, but walking with your head down and with a purpose, and walking, quickly through the street. Nobody, not talking or interacting with anybody.
So you got out of the car.
So I got out of the car because we've been looking for you for 2 hours, and I said, Ev, can we?
She saw you, and she was surprised that she saw you. It was
Right.
almost like
Like
she
you
didn't
didn't know
remember.
I was there. Like you
right,
were-
and you came
Oh,
up and you gave
Dad.
Dad a big hug. And let me just read here. And you asked where she was going, and you answered with a question. And you tried to make small talk and tried to get you to attend a therapy session. Then you refused.
No, you said no. You go get the
You
therapy
know,
session.
Said,
I'm fine.
we're the ones who need
Need
therapy,
therapy.
not you. And you got angry, and you started to pound on Dad's chest, yelling loudly, "Let it out! Let it out! Let it out all the way to your loudest voice! Let it out!" And then you just walking away, and your dad keeps trying to follow you, trying to engage you, and talk more about. You started talking more about not needing your wallet.
Right.
And you're pointing to your wallet with your identification, and he asked, "What good is this to me?" He handed Dad the wallet, and Dad objected, saying you'd need it. And you started to back away, and you're talking more about death, and that's when I made the phone call.
I bet my parents were so worried.
Tragic.
They can't see me, even when I'm there.
I said, why can't we just stay here? And you were like, well, why don't you go get some mitts and we'll play catch. You go get some mitts, I'll stay right here, and then we'll stay here and we'll play catch. Which, if I'd had some access to some mitts, we could have done that. But then, but then you didn't really want to stay. You wanted me to leave, and that was just a way to get us to leave. And we knew that we couldn't leave in the situation, and now I got your wallet, and you won't take it back, and you want us to leave. And we knew that this was declining. This was a worsening situation. So we called 911. Your mom called 911 and explained to them that we thought you were having a nervous, or a psychotic break, and that you were a good person and not violent, and be very careful and be gentle. And then in just a few minutes, 5 minutes or 10 minutes, the police came. And they walked up very calmly and wanted to know what was happening.
2 female officers.
Yeah, and the 2 officers started asking us questions, and then it starts getting serious, right? Because they're acting like police.
They kept asking you questions, and you kept answering questions with questions and metaphors. So she handcuffed you and took you into custody and for being severely disabled. And then while she was handcuffing you, you thanked them.
I don't want you to worship me.
What do you mean?
I follow my own God. I have a relationship with my divinity. You need to have your own. I can't be that for you.
Okay. But you know so much more about everything. I feel like you have answers.
I do. And I can share them. But you need to have your own answers.
It was interesting how the doctors called the first day, and right after hello, the first question was, so who else in the family has bipolar? That's how he put it. And I'm like, well, we've got some depression. I said, I don't require much sleep. I said, my mom's kind of manic. There are people, my dad was depressed. I said, there are people in our family with stuff. I said, but this is the first time we've seen this. We felt so helpless.
And we had been so out of the loop. We did not know what was going on. We did not know what had been happening in your life and what influences and just what you were thinking or why you were thinking what you were thinking. And we just felt so disconnected. And then to see your child go from a person who's just so capable and able and thoughtful and kind and all of these things to be somebody you just don't recognize, it's horrific.
Yeah.
It's horrific. And so we spent a lot of time crying and not sleeping and not eating and reaching out to everybody and anybody we knew who might be able to help us, and just grasping for straws. I mean, we felt like we were trying to save your life, that you would be lost to us forever.
I feel like if I go back to my parents...
They'll suffocate you?
Yeah. That I'll never be myself again.
Yeah.
There were a few things.
Oh, you got a mosquito on your neck.
Me?
On your on your arm.
I caught one biting me right here.
Getting bitten too out here.
Oh man, me too.
Do we want to move or what?
Let's not.
I don't think moving is going to make a difference.
Moving's not going to do it, but what we might want to do, closest drugstore.
What kind of businesses are you looking for?
Drugstore.
Here's what I found.
that night we went back to the hospital to see you at 6 o'clock. And you're kind of very up. Maybe up's not the right word. Energized, I guess. And you came in and you had a plan. And your plan was that we were going to buy you a house in Long Beach. Then that was the plan. And I said, I can't afford a house for myself in Long Beach. Why would I buy it for her? And you said, you know, I know, but you don't have it, but I know you'll buy it for me. And that we had to, again, be willing to give it all up for you. And then you got really angry. And was just talking about being held like a prisoner and being incarcerated and how we put you there, and to get you out of there, and that, you know, just yelling at us that, you know, you have all the power, you're keeping me here, and we're just like, we don't.
Yeah.
You know, we tried to explain to you, we don't have the power, and that, you know, it was up to you to get better so that you could get out of there. That was the only way they were going to let you out of there. And we tried to explain to you that the reason why you were there is because you're unable to take care of yourself. You know, and that until they felt that you were safe enough to be on your own, that they weren't going to let you go. And while we're trying to explain this to you, you're standing in the corner with your legs spread and your hands held behind you like you were handcuffed.
So step 2 is the box. Summer, I'm not safe here. What do I do? When I don't feel safe, I try to spend as much time as I can alone. Hi, Bunny. If there's anything you can do to act like everyone else is acting and look like everyone else looks, that might help. Hello? Okay. I need all blue and black clothing. I need a book to write in. I need a watch with an alarm function, red cigarettes, and lots of printer paper. Step 3 is the kite. Mom, I made a deal with the devil. I need a disposable phone. I need a new place to live. And I need to leave as soon as possible. When you visit me, wear all black. Don't look anyone in the eye. Actually, wear purple. Okay, don't come at all. Don't come at all. You're asking where you live. I love you. Step 5 is the fox. Hello? Hey, hi. So there's a total of 8 steps. All you need is a square piece of paper. Don't tell me. Next time you're here, show me. I can do that. I'll bring Post-its.
Bye. One day, I remember saying, okay, and we would actually say this a lot, okay, we're just going to go in there. We're not going to say anything. We're not going to have any agenda, because we really, there's nothing we can say or do, and we just want her to know that we're here for her and that we're not leaving you and that we love you. And just feeling like if we just came every day and we're consistent in being there and just showing you that we loved you, and that's all that mattered. And one day we were like, oh, I know, she likes to play games. Let's bring a game. And we brought bananagrams, thinking, this way we won't have to have any conversation, we'll just have nice interaction. And that night was probably one of the worst nights. I mean, we never even brought it out. And it was, I think we were barely in the door and you were trying to push us out. and you wanted, Aunt Debbie had on a purple jacket or something, and you really wanted her jacket, and of course she was like, of course you can have my jacket, and we couldn't give you anything. That's the rules there. You can't give anything without it going past the people checking it and everything. And so, but you were in a big hurry for us to get out of there. And while they were trying to take the string out of her jacket, you just got so impatient. No, just leave. And you were just shoving us out the door. And we all walked out and just said, what the hell just happened? You started becoming much more agitated about being on the male ward. We haven't had that conversation about how you were getting much more agitated. The paranoia really started to get worse. And so there was an urgency to get you off of that floor and to somewhere else, whether it be a co-ed floor or a female floor. We went back to see you, and there wasn't anybody there. There were no other friends there or anything. We got there, and the nurse told us that you were very groggy, and they had to sedate you because that you had barricaded yourself in your room. So when you were coming down the hallway, you could barely walk or hold your head up. You had been so medicated. And you told us you had been raped, and possibly multiple times. And I asked you about, what happened about the barricading of your door, and you said, you were only moving the furniture around, and the bed was only partially blocking the door. And you talked again about being raped. And you can barely hold your head up or even talk to us. But there was a piece of you that was like, that connected, that I felt connected, like you were being very honest and open with us at that time. And you wanted me to hold you. So we don't stay very long because you obviously really just needed to lay down and just the medications were off because it was just too difficult. But when we left, we asked the nurse, like, what the hell? And explaining like what you had just told us and how, what the hell is going on? And the only thing she would say, she wouldn't tell us anything more, but the only thing she would say was that you barricaded the door. So we leave, not knowing what happened, not knowing if that was part of the psychosis or if it was real or what. And, it's like that much more helplessness. Here you think you're trying to help somebody and do the right thing, and are you putting them in more danger? It just... Once I felt like I understood what the law was, I demanded, and I had to demand a meeting with the administration there, and they were not forthcoming. They were not well versed at all in what the laws were. But once I basically said, listen, either you fix this problem now, or we will go to the authorities and report you and take care of this. Did they finally acquiesce that they would move you to another ward? But at the very same breath, she said, and if anything happens, if he touches anyone, and I just said, you better watch yourself. and then it was a done deal. Within 20 minutes, they had you out of there. So
We should do that again because the jet is going over.
I liked it. It was intense. And the jet kept being louder and you kept being more like, "Arr."
yes, and I was very much like a mother bear on that day. I was, you know, I mean, the whole time you're just, this is my cub. This is my cub, and I have to do whatever I can do. Those were really hard days to go home to, you know. And the whole thing had been, you know, traumatizing for us as well.
How does this end?
How does what end?
My parents, my illness. They feel far away sometimes. Sometimes with you, it disappears completely, but it always comes back.
Because you keep returning.
What do you mean?
Sound it out.
The only way to get away forever is to not go back?
You'll never belong here with me.
Unless I can choose you first.
Are you ready to stay here forever?
Yes.
Prove it. Prove it.
How?
Go home.
Can we just stay here for like a couple more minutes? I don't believe I was raped. At the time, it felt like that's what happened, but I know that my felt experience and my lived experience diverged at some point. Sometime the day before, sometime the week before, sometime the month before. Things started to shift, where what I was living and what I thought I was living were different things. By the time I was out of the men's ward, I thought that multiple patients and multiple nurses were abusing people. I thought that there was a national conspiracy. One of my friends, when I told them this, said, "But are you sure that that's what's going on? Like, do you really think that's what's happening?" And I couldn't even consider the possibility that that wasn't true. It took me months or years to start to put together what I felt and what I experienced at that time. I still don't understand what happened completely because I don't remember everything, but I don't think that what I filled in the gaps with was actually what happened.
I know you've been away for some time. I know you've seen lights that aren't mine. Come down. I know that you think, come down now. Your heart is divine, or else I'll have to separate you from the sunshine. 'Cause all your love is mine. I'll put you in the ground. All your love is mine. I'll put you in the ground. All your love is mine. My body, my soul, my ancestors. Hey, hi. My body, my soul, my ancestors. My body, my soul, my ancestors.
Come with us.
My body, my soul, my ancestors. Goodbye, hands.
Bye, hands.
Goodbye.
Bye, feet. Goodbye, friends. Bye. Goodbye, streets. Goodbye, bodies. Goodbye, me. See you on the other side.
When I ran away from home in the winter and I was outside, that was when it was the loudest. And I was like, I'm in control now. I'm free. Like, I can do whatever I want. And I'm also like all my friends who've run away from their homes, and like I'm making it right now. This is the beginning of the rest of my life. And that was what I was feeling and thinking at that time. And then I didn't have anywhere to go. And I gave up. And that was kind of the turning point where I was like, oh, that core thing that I've been running with this whole time at various levels of volume isn't about me. Like, it's not my life. So I just have to let that.
That's an important realization.
In the fading light of another afternoon, there's a promise of something new, another you beyond the you. But there's only ever one you. There's only everyone you meet. There's only every time you keep. There's only every night you sleep. Doors left